What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what they just put out, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 43.67% during the pre-market, instantly putting it within the top 10 most heavily traded during the pre-market. A lot of volume, so good to see. I can only imagine what is going to happen once the market does open, because Lucid did put out some very kick-ass news at the same time as putting out some questionable news. And so getting right to the kick-ass news, that is this right here. So I know a lot of Lucid investors, including myself, have speculated on partnerships in the past. I don't think anyone planned this or kind of had this on their bingo card, but Lucid, Nuro, and Uber partner on next generation autonomous robo-taxi program. Uber aims to deploy 20,000 or more Lucid vehicles equipped with the Nuro driver over 6 years in dozens of markets. So not only will this get Lucid seen on a large global scale, but this is a pretty good order, 20,000 or more. Most likely it's going to be for the midsize, so even more importance that Lucid get that out on time. With the Nikola facility, it is fair to assume that they can do that, at least move up the time frame from late 2026 to most likely mid, even though Lucid's never really announced that, but logically it makes sense. But aside from that though, this is huge for Lucid. And not only that, but it kind of does really show that Lucid is seen as solid technology, because Uber, I know prior to this news, people were very worried that Tesla's robotaxi was going to destroy it. And clearly Lucid is seen as a good contender against Tesla. So yeah, even though bears really hate on Lucid, this is huge news from multiple different standpoints. So let me know your general thoughts on this in the comments below. So it looks like they want to really go to the level 4 autonomous system, and with the Nuro driver, which is rather interesting. The fact that they are Lucid, even though they have this partnership with Nuro, I don't really know if Nuro and Uber have some pre-existing kind of deal, but Lucid does have that deal with NVIDIA. So kind of weird to see that they're using Nuro, but maybe I'll do a little bit more deeper dive into Nuro. But I'll do a PM video as well, just to go over exactly what the data points are saying, such as options, because the market is closed, thus no options. So I'll do a PM video just to give you a quick summary of everything. But for face value, this does seem very, very good. But moral of the story is that Lucid really needs to ramp up on production. So they've been really struggling. I think Mark even did recently post that in a LinkedIn comment, saying that he kind of acknowledges that Lucid isn't really ramping up to the same magnitude that he would have ideally liked. So moral of the story is that they really need to execute, get their asses in gear, and capitalize on this. So I think Lucid could use this as a good crutch to really move higher. Lucid did put out this good news, most likely to mask this news. And I see a lot of people really freaking out, because anytime someone sees this reverse stock split, they panic like crazy. So Lucid files preliminary proxy statement with the SEC to initiate plan for a reverse stock split. So this is for them to do a 1-for-10. Normally what does happen is a company gets a shareholder meeting and then they get all the rubber stamps, but it looks like they aren't doing a shareholder meeting because technically they already have the majority votes because of the PIF. So it looks like they are just going to be overdoing that, which is rather unfortunate, and it does suck, but that's obviously what the majority stake wants. But nonetheless though, what this does mean is that they have this in their back pocket for the next year. So I feel like a lot of people are seeing this and just freaking out, assuming that it is going to be done immediately. They are just having this in their back pocket, let's say assuming maybe a market pullback or whatever else, a global recession does occur, they can use this. Because anytime a company gets one of these approved, they can do it within a 1-year time span without getting a further approval. But yeah, this is something to kind of be concerned over, pay attention to. But is this a reason to sell because of them having a reverse stock split in their back pocket just in case as a fail safe? I don't really think so. If they do up it from, let's say, a 1 for 10 to, let's say, a 1 for 50, then you know what, I would be rather worried about that. But yeah, let me know your general thoughts on this news right here. Like I said, I think a lot of people are freaking out, and most likely, if you are going to see some negative pullback in the market, it will be because of the reverse stock split aspect. Not necessarily this. So this news is very positive, but again, I think you're going to have bears bringing up saying, hey, can Lucid even fulfill this 20,000 and whatever else? So let me know your general thoughts on this news. What's your viewpoint on the reverse stock split chatter? Like, what's your kind of 2 cents on all that? I will be doing a after hours video going over what shorts are doing, options, and everything else. So make sure you stay tuned for that video, but this is just my viewpoint on today's recent news. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.